Hello, my friends. Today's date is November the 18th, and this is a birthday reading for you if this is your birthday, or if this is an anniversary or a significant event marker date. But mostly this is for birth dates, year reading, the year to follow, a general energy card for what is the energy that might come through this year, an action, a challenge card, what will you be faced with possibly this year, an action card, what can you do to stay in balance this year, and an outcome or synopsis card, more fleshing out of what this is all about as the last card. So, the first card, the general energy card for this year, for November the 18th, folks, is the Sustainer. What is the sustainer? You know, there's the three principles of creation, sustaining, and destruction. That's the cycle of who we are, how we live, what we see in our everyday world, what we see outside of ourselves, what we see as the cycle of being, of of making something happen and keeping something alive and then letting it surrender and die as it's needed to, as everything is needed to, as everything is needed to be changed. Change is the only constant. So the sustainer fights on some level against the inevitable, and the sustainer often learns how to go with the flow and surrender to it over time, and the sustainer works toward all those little details quite often that we don't see, the behind the scenes stuff, the quiet stuff, the service stuff, the things that make things run stuff. Those are often the quiet heroes of our day. You are often the quiet heroes of our day. You are getting things done, you are making things happen, you are sustaining some kind of creation that is important to you and or important to others, and you are willing to be that doer, that doobie, that get it done, that follow what needs to be done, without often a sense of needing to be thanked for it or even acknowledged for it. You are just often willing to be the sustainer of what has been in some kind of form. Maybe you're a record keeper. Maybe you're the mother who's keeping the family together. Maybe you are the father who is supplying all the resources and the needs to keep something together, the family together, or the business together. Or maybe you're the mother that's doing that. You know, there's so we're all creators, sustainers, and destroyers. In essence, we all take something, shake it up, rattle it apart, rebuild it, and maintain it on some level, including our lives. And we are here to find out about how to sustain ourselves better, how to go through the process better, how to give of ourselves and take care of ourselves as we sustain other things that are important to us. So all of those elements and energies are wrapped up in the question of the sustainer, and I think on a lot of levels this is about you being someone who gets things done that need to be done, and often without acknowledgement, or it's just a sense of needing to be done, and you're going to do it. So what is your particular challenge November the 18th? Well, it's the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is, one of the more challenging cards in any deck, and tarot deck. Nine of Swords is often a place, a mind place of true pain and terror, and an old wound that is so big that has made us cower before, has made us fear what might come, has made us question ourselves and probably judge ourselves, maybe has some resentment and revenge underneath it towards someone else, maybe has some ill will towards someone else or toward ourselves for what we think we did or what we think we were supposed to do, or maybe it's just a deep sense of, deep abandonment or deep unworthiness, or deep angst about how to move forward and how to go beyond one's fears and not let them cripple us. All those things can be a part of somebody's or an individual piece of somebody's dark night of the soul. And this challenge card is to face your dark night of the soul and to learn how to stand up to your own internal demons and your own internal words of condemnation and your own internal thoughts of it's too much, it's too wrong, I'm too bad, it's too bad, I'm too wrong, it's too bad, there's too much pressure, there's too many things against me. All those thoughts are swords. They're thoughts, they're swords, they're the things that pierce us. They're the things we give out back into the world to get reflected back to us, to see who we are and what we are against them. So this is a time of really going into some really old pain and facing it. Because you can't cower to it anymore. You can't let it control you anymore. You can't give it the power to make you go to bed, hide away, uh, think horrible negative thoughts about yourself, or fall into deep and dark depression. So that's your challenge on some levels, maybe on a very big level. Maybe it's a one time thing. Maybe it's kind of a spread across the year energy. Those are individual circumstances that might be occurring. And for an individual reading, you would need an individual reading to see what specifically works for you. But overall, this is about that power of something that once held you back, saying, all right, I'm back here for you to look at me again, to see if you've made any better decisions for your own health and your own sanity and your own path forward. So, what is the action you get to take or should take, could take, in order for you to be uh, more actively participating in your healing work? Well, it's the salmon. And salmon to me is, boy, tenacity. I think of salmon and I think, this fish, you know, uh, fights against the odds and fights against nature and fights against huge flowing, crippling waters in its face, and fights against bears that want to eat it, and other creatures that want to eat it, and it fights its way upstream in order to spawn, in order to go to the place where it was born and return to some cycle of knowing that is part of its truth and part of its being and part of its need in order for it to survive and for others to survive. There's the sustainer. Look at the sustainer. That's you. This is the sustainer fighting upstream to get what needs to be done, to have your babies, to have your life, to share in the cycle of evolution, to keep further generations moving. There is tenacity that the salmon must undergo. And that's the action is taken for you. Be tenacious. Cling to your life. Cling to your joy. Cling to your understanding that you can get through this. You can move through all the obstacles that come to you. You can swim upriver against the odds and come to a place where you give birth again, where you give of yourself for future generations again. But it's about committing yourself to go through the pain that is presented to you this year on some level, and not let it cripple you, not let it cower you, and recognize that you're going to be the sustainer and you're going to keep things going and you're going to do what needs to be done for yourself and or for other people, if this is a bigger organizational thing, or if this is a religion thing, or if this is a sacred duty thing, or if this is a service thing in some way. Normally service is all about what the sustainer is, so this is about some kind of service to some kind of thing that means something to you, something that's important to you, and you don't want to shy away from, and you don't want to give that grace and that beauty away that is the organization that you've been helping along, or the person or the family or the self, or the bigger picture that you've been helping along. You're going to will yourself to go forward and go against the streams and really look at what might have stopped you, but you're not going to let it stop you. You're going to dance yourself this year. This is This is the outcome card or the synopsis card with no definitions, soul cards, purely intuition. So, my sense is this could be a year of sharpness. And the sharpness might be, sense of your own sharp tongue that needs to come up and come out to defend yourself. It might be the sharpness of your own metaphorical elbows that need to set good boundaries and allow itself to set good boundaries for the first time. It might be the sense of allowing yourself to dance and sing when you've not been allowed to or felt that you couldn't. And weren't allowed to, and that the oppressive forces of either yourself or outside of you didn't allow you to be yourself and have your truth and share your pain with a look toward healing it and understanding it and coming back down to a fairer and more just way of dealing with it than letting it cripple you and cower you and hold you back. You're the sustainer, and you have the power and the right to dance your commitment. You have the power and the beauty to dance your authenticity. You have the power and the right to set your good boundaries, to think your positive thoughts, and to not hold yourself in condemnation, because that is not what the gift of human beingness is. We must rise above our own self-made limitations and the limitations put upon ourselves by others, and find our path and find our truth and find our light and dance, dance, dance for ourselves to be healed, to be loved, to be clean, to be whole, to find our sacred again. Ahom Atak Vyasa.